Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Good morning. Oh, here we go then. One. Oh, that's enough. Lovely to see you. I've got some painting to do today, but I'm just wondering whether it's going to rain. So I'm just hesitating for 5 because they say it's going to be a bit nicer. They say it's going to be a bit nicer later today. Who's they? Oh, there's a squirrel running along top of the fence line. Bosh. I think he's got his nuts in his mouth. A bit like Michelle Obama. Yes, definitely Michelle. I'm going to nickname that squirrel Michelle. Ha! Lovely to see you guys. How we doing? The Dominant yes, I was coming here this morning. Yes, let's get funky. Nice to see you all. Let's wait for a few of your comments. Guys, we'll be talking about myself this morning, as always, and what you can do going forward for the future. How to change your paradigm. All these things, what are relative to you. All external noises, as in from the news and all these other things, how they play out in our life, and what does it really matter to you as an individual? How does it affect your life? Why do we pay such attention to all these newspapers and TVs and the news? I mean, the news. How does it impact your life? And what can we do going forward? And I'm going to be talking about the implementations. Oh, we've got a dodgy connection. Let's see if it comes back. Yeah, now we're back. We had a little dodgy connection there for a second. Dodgy connect. I live in a village. Now, the village is different. I grew up in the centre of London. I grew up in a place called Peckham. All right, Peckham, South East London, where I was a young brethren, and I had a good life. I went to a good school, but it was different. London life is fast. Everyone's trying to keep up with the next door neighbours. We're all out doing this, doing that, and where I live now in the village, it's completely different. People are different. Life's different. Everyone, it's all local. My stuff that I get involved with, my whole life really now just evolves around my village. Well, let's face it, you can't fly anywhere right now, and who would want to? Wearing all them face masks and nappies. See, this is the point I'm trying to make. I don't care what goes on out in there in the world. I don't care if there's a coronavirus. I don't care if Satan's roaming. I've got the choice to not take part. I can say it's happening, but I don't want to take part in it. And this is where we change things. This is where we change our mind and we come into our state of awareness and being. My friend Philip Hartley went to court yesterday. He got assaulted by a British transport policeman a few weeks ago, and they're trying to take him to court for assaulting them. Can you believe this? This British transport policeman smashed his head into a train window so hard he cracked the window. Do you know how tough these new train windscreens are? My God. Or side windows. They're like triple glazing. Yeah. We've got a mate that wears glasses and he's got really bad eyes, bless him, Richard. And we call him triple glazing because his glasses are so thick. Bless him, he can't go out in the sunlight because he might burn his eyebrows. They're like magnifying glasses, but it is funny. But we love him. We love him so much. So the point I'm trying to make is, what do we do going forward? Where do we focus our point of attention? And what I'm going to tell you, what I started to do a long, long time ago, was I've probably in my whole life bought about 5 newspapers. 5, if that. And really tossed them to one side. When I got them, it was just about killing time. And well, I used to read the papers and I used to think, well, that's happened in, but how does it affect me? It doesn't. It doesn't. So I hope he's doing all right now. Yeah. Karen Campbell, what's happening here? Yeah, morning, I'm awake. So that's what we can do. What do we do going forwards? We don't have to participate in this. Oh, Philip Ray Hartley. Yeah, sorry. He got smashed up by this copper who then tried to assault him. British Transport Police were doing him for terrorism. They reckon this coronavirus is a terrorism offence. What's going on? So anyway, my mate went to court yesterday. He'd been given some information by a friend of mine called Graham, who lives in Doncaster. He's an amazing guy. And my mate stood in his power. The judge went to get up and walk out the court, and my mate said, well, you ain't abandoning ship. Come back here. I am the man, the living, breathing flesh and blood. And this judge really didn't know what to do with him. And now they say they're going for trial, but personally, I think they're bug on out. Now the thing is this: the courts. What I would love to see in the new world that I want to see, and the new world that I'm going to manifest with you lot, we're all going to manifest this, is nice judges, people that actually like you, that people that love you, the people that want to do right by you. I don't want to go into any court in this country at a disadvantage, knowing that the judge hates me, that the prosecutor hates me, that they're trying to fit me up from the get-go. I detest that. I find that very disgusting. Well, the thing with mankind is people that walk in the spirit will always find the way. We'll always see the light. We'll always find that way through the deluge. And we'll always be able to shine the light and the intelligence and the wisdom on anything that is thrown at us. Big time. And my friend Philip is a classic example. He said to this judge, "You're not abandoning ship. Where are you going?" And he said, the judge thought, "Oh, this one knows what's going on." So what I would love to see is courts and solicitors and prosecutors actually actively working for the decency and the upstandingness of yourself. But they don't. Clearly they don't. You go into these courts, everyone's trembling. Everyone's, the judge is coming out in a minute. It's like they're waiting for the Wizard of Oz to turn up. And it is the Wizard of Oz that's turning up. But the Wizard of Oz, when he's breathing smoke, green smoke out of his nostrils and his big organs are playing, you've got to remember he's just a little tiny man hiding behind a curtain. Yeah? Hello, Sonia Ballard Scott, darling. How are you? I keep my world in my bubble and I don't take part in the so-called normal life. It's small and full of love. I ain't got time for the disgusting people like that. Amen. People talk about whether the earth's round or flat. Don't matter to me. And who is right? Nobody. It don't matter whether the earth's flat, the earth's round. Only you within yourself know the answer to that question, because that's all that matters, is what matters to you. That's all that matters in life. It's not what bomb's gone off in some country that matters to you. It's not, because you might focus your attention on it today, but tomorrow you've moved on to something else. That bomb in Lebanon the other day, no one's talking about it no more. No one's. It's like trump cards. Remember you used to play trump cards? So that's the problem. We don't focus our point of attention and awareness on anything anymore. We're so swiftly drawn over here. We're so swiftly drawn over there. We need to focus up. And what we need to focus up on is ourselves, is you, your life, your creation. Focus on that, and focus on how you want to participate in everything in this world, because you are the power. You're the power. I don't watch the news. I don't read newspapers. When the radio's on and I'm singing to a favourite tune of mine and the news comes on, it's like my ears shut off. I can't hear the drivel that's coming out from these news broadcasters. I just can't. I just cannot listen to it because it doesn't affect me in my world. But so many people are driven by, did you hear what happened in so-and-so today? Who cares? How does it affect your life? Focus on you. Focus on your life. Focus on the things that you can do today to change the world for tomorrow, that is beneficial to you and your family. Stop being pulled in all directions. Stop focusing on all the drivel that the mainstream media doles out, because it doesn't affect you. How does it affect you? It doesn't. And these people are very good at making us lose our point of awareness and focus. We focus over there, we go here, we go there, and we don't never know where we are. We don't ground ourselves in ourselves. Now, the things that I did to change my world was to turn my back on the system, to have no dealings with it. But bearing in mind, we all have the right to live private. See, we all have the right to have private property. Did you watch One? Yeah, I've watched One by One many, many times. And he's quite right in what he says. I watched a little bit of it yesterday, just up until the point where the little gorgeous black girl got stabbed to death. And that part of the film really rocks me. It's a fantastic part. And One by One, when he's walking down the promenade, and he says, Dion, he says, you think, he said, well, at least you own your bike. She said, what do you mean? He said, well, you own your bike. He said, you don't own a car. Because she said, oh, he's got a nice car. He said, yeah, but he don't own it. She said, well, of course he does. He said, well, you don't, because you register it with a DVLA and it comes back as you're the keeper. And you look up the definition of the word keeper, it means watcher, guardian. It don't mean to say owner. And these are the truths that we're all being made aware of. And there's plenty of people out there saying, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist or this, that. Let them. Don't judge them. Don't call them sheeple, because that means that we know more than them, right? And we don't. It's how we vibrate. It's what energy we vibrate in, what we should be doing. I might take the mickey now and again and say, oh, the sheeple are doing this. I don't mean it. What it is, we should be leading by example. We should be having open arms and saying to anyone that wants to come into truth and knowledge and awareness and point of who they are and focus on their lives and what affects them in their everyday worlds, we should be opening our arms up and saying, yes, okay, cool, you want information, go and have a look over there. But my truth might not be your truth. Yeah, and your truth might not be my truth. But the point is this, it's what affects you in your life and what positive changes can you make to make this world a better place for you and your family. That is the important part, all right? It's not about being discombobulated and focusing on all the other stuff that you hear about, all the white noise. Forget it. Like I say, massive bomb in Lebanon the other day. All over the news. Who's talking about it today? Is there anybody on Facebook sharing their deep concern? Oh, the Lebanese people. They've forgotten about it. Massive bomb, massive devastation. But who now, a week or however long after it, who's now talking about it? Nobody. Not really. Mainstream media, not on there. And as soon as it gets taken off the BBC, the MSN and all this other stuff, people forget it. Someone said to me years ago, today's news is tomorrow's chip paper. And it's true. People are so blindly controlled and they don't know who they are. I want people to resonate in their own frequency, all right, and resonate on a high frequency, because it's very easy to get into that lower stuff. But when you get into that lower stuff, that affects you as an individual. Have a higher frequency and you'll attract people. People will gravitate to that frequency. It's like when you hear a great song come on the radio that fills you with emotion. You might have a favorite Take That song because it was the first time you lost your virginity around the back of Tesco's or something for you ladies and gentlemen, and it might trigger your brain off and go, I remember that, and it brings you into this higher vibe. This is quite a philosophical one today, ladies and gentlemen, but what I'm trying to do is so that we can stop all this external noise, focus on what matters in your life, how it impacts you, and what can you do. Now, the things that I've done, was I brave? No. I just did what my heart felt right. Me turning my back on the system, me serving the police and saying to them, God gave me a gift. Can you take it away from me? Turning my back on all Her Majesty's agencies. That was my choice. But I knew that I was strong in my own inner self for it to work out. Not one point did I question, because once I felt that it was right and I was vibrating on this higher frequency, and not one point did I think it wouldn't work, would it fail? Not one. Because I wouldn't let it enter my consciousness. All the boogeymen, the tax man, the policing man, the courts, the judges, the boogeymen, I weren't going to let them in. No, not my consciousness, not part of my world. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm not even going to manifest them. And that's just how it went. I just said to myself, my consciousness is in a higher state of vibration. And that's how I'm going to roll. I'm not going to get involved in all this stuff. Loads died in Beirut, white hats, kids and adults underground. Yeah, but who's talking about it now? Who's talking about the atrocities that happened out there? Nobody. It's not on the mainstream media no more. And this is what the mainstream media does. It pulls people, and they read the newspapers and they read them avidly, but they don't know self. They don't know who they are. Just be happy, man, and that will affect him. They don't like us being that. Amen. If you're happy, now I'll give you an example. I was in a local plumbing and heating merchants about 12 years ago. And there's a guy that works for Baxi Boilers called Ollie. And he comes from around North London way. And I'll tell you something. I've never, ever met this guy before. And he bowled into the shop with such charisma and energy. And he went, all right, sugar tits. And I just fell in love with this man. And he could have sold me the sand in the desert. Just what he could have sold it all to me in that instant, because that was what he brought with him. And he is such a man. I'm telling you, if you spent time in Ollie Lomas, God bless him, he's a lovely dude. He's just got this energy, absolute beautiful energy. Family man. I'll tell you, that's what you need to do. All the truthers out there, all spreading their truth in that. Be that individual. Be the one that walks into a room and everyone goes, oh my word, that's a force of nature. That is a force of nature to be reckoned with. If look at Donna, she's pulling trucks. I see Donna the other day pulling a lorry. Man, how impressive is that? Get out and be the superheroes you want to be. Get out and do the things you want to do. Don't put limitations on yourself. Because that's all we're doing. We're all so lost. And that's what I love our village. Because everyone in my village, there's just this niceness about it. Nothing really bad ever goes on down there. You get the few occasional idiots that do this and do that. But in the last 30 years, there's been one stabbing. And that was over a love feud. Someone was knocking off someone else's missus and something got a bit lively. We have toilets. Public toilets. Thankfully, Jimmy Savile's no longer around. We don't have a problem with Jimmy hanging outside going now then. With his jogging bottoms. I think he used to keep his tobacco pouch down there. We don't have that problem. And I was like, and I found out a few years ago that my village has toilets that are open for people can use during the day. It was like I was taken back 40 years to my childhood when I was in Peckham, when all the toilets was open in Peckham, all the public toilets. There was a public toilet at the top of Rye Lane. You used to go down the stairs, old Victorian place, all the big green and white tiles in there, you know the ones, didn't you? Yeah. And you could have a Slash or whatever you wanted to do in there. Slash is the guitarist from that group. Trying to think what the name of the group is that Slash plays in. You always go for a Slash when you're in one of them places, let me tell you, because you're always strumming your organ, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, and it took me back. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Most people in my village do what they can and for other people. They really do. I've never met anyone nasty in my village. Never. And if you ever want a role model, come to the village for the day and just walk about and see how many people talk to you, how many people ask how your day is and smile at you. It's beautiful, man. I have a radar key. Sorry, my humour is terrible. Bless you, Karen. So you can change your future. You can change your life in an instant. You can do it today. There is nothing in the world that says you have to contribute to this evil, wicked system that we find ourselves in. By the way, people of Melbourne, apparently someone suggested that they're going ahead with this mandatory vaccination. Now, mandatory means forceful, yeah, mandating. It means to use force. How true this is, I don't know. How true is the comments and posts on Facebook? Nobody knows. We're inside because we all flick through it. We all see these posts. Oh, so and so did this. Look at that. Oh yeah, they're doing this in Africa. Oh yeah, look. We just flick. We don't focus. We don't pay attention on ourselves, our lives, and how we want to be in this world. We just don't. Ready Brek. Yeah, oh, you can't beat a bit of Ready Brek. So Mandy, just smile, cheese him off. Yeah, you have to get to the place of. That's a nice comment, to be fair. How do I get back up to that comment? Where's my slider? You have to. Why is that all gone that colour? Oh, people keep up there. Hang on. Can you post that comment again? I want to read that one out. Loads died in Beirut. White hats. Oh, I've gone too far now, I think. Then you can flourish and shine your positivity. You would glow even like the Ready Brek. That's what you got to do. You got to stop being distracted from all these other external elements and focus on what you want to see in your life, for your family, and for your outcome every day. You need to walk in simple truths. You need to walk in the spirit of, what do I need today to get me through this day so that no harm comes to me and that I can vibrate in a good frequency? If it means turning off the social media and not listening to all the rubbish. There are times, and that's why I don't really frequent Facebook much anymore, that all you'll see is this and that, and it just pulls you into your lower vibration. It pulls you down into the lower part of your belly. Now, I'm someone that does vibrate on a higher kind of frequency. But I want to see the world come back to decency. I want to see our courts come from love. I want them to pillage someone and deal with you that way. I don't want them having the ethos of we own you. We own you. You're going to do what we say. We're going to come and take your cars, your homes whenever we feel like it. I'm done with that. That's not my world. My world will never, ever, ever accept that as normal. That we have these public servants now that just beautifully love inflicting harm, and they've perfected their craft. They don't seem to like them. They've turned their backs, and all they do is predicate fear. That's my protein shake before anyone asks. Fear. Every minute of the day. Fear from the courts, fear from the newspapers, fear from the TV. Everyone must watch the TV news at night at 10 o'clock and go to bed, and they're bringing you down into the pit of your stomach. They're bringing you down into the underworld. You're not vibrating up here. The minute I turned off the TV, boom, shakalaka. Poor my dog. Poor Matho dog. I can't even say that, Ray. Perhaps you'll have to break the word down into etymology of it so I can say it. No to MSN and government. Look, Amen. If you go out and walk around, thingy, ground out, feel the earth under your feet, just breathe easy. I'm here. I'm okay. Everything's all right. How's the world, all the external noise that goes, Port Maddock, beautiful. Thanks, darling. It won't affect you no more because you won't get pulled down into this lower part of your being. You'll be up here. You'll be vibrating up here. And this is where we need to be, ladies and gentlemen. We're so distracted. Did you hear on the news today, Dave? And, well, how does that affect you? Yeah, well, they're doing this. How does it affect you? How does what the news chucks out and dribbles out, how is it affecting you? Please tell me how it's affecting you. It's not. The 9 times out of 10, it is not. It's just noise. It's a distraction. People don't know how to focus on self anymore. People need to get back to focusing on self-awareness, self-responsibility, and then the world's a different place. And then you can make the choices that you need to do to embed your life. Now, I don't need to rely on any government, not for money, not for nothing. Why? Because I manifested that. I manifested the fact that I am the man in the world. I absolutely have to own my decisions. My life is my life. It's not some politicians to muck around with and cheaply throw it away. This is my life. This is my soul. This is my resonance. This is my journey. It's got nothing to do with Boris Johnson and all these other dickheads. So I took responsibility of my life. I asked nothing of them. They don't ask nothing of me. And when you can do that, we're not a begging bowl nation anymore. Because we're a begging bowl nation because the state keeps take off of us. So we're never ever in a position where we can be self-sufficient, self-responsible, governing our own worldly affairs. And that's where we need to get back to, is us individually governing our own worldly affairs without any external noise, without anyone from the police interfering, without anyone from the courts interfering. And the only time they should interfere is to enhance your life, to make it better, not to harm you. This system was not set up to harm us, the people. And as my friend Philip proved yesterday in this court in London, the judge had no of him because he went in as the living flesh and blood, soul and spirit. And they can't deal with that. They can only deal with their fiction that they created. And he said, well, if you don't agree to be Mr. Hartley, I'm going to send out a warrant for your arrest because you haven't turned up in court. And he's like, are you crazy? I'm stood here. What's the matter with you? I'm in the living flesh and blood. Every man has the right to face his accuser, and no man can speak for another. That's where we've been taken off by these barristers and these solicitors that are useless pieces of wet lettuce. Because you could sit with a solicitor all morning and say, I want this to happen, this to happen, this to happen. What you getting? He does it his way. Why? Because he's part of the bar and he can't offend the bar. He's not allowed to. So you just wasted your time and your breath. They don't work for you. In point of fact, when they stand up in court, they are you because you've given them power of attorney to be you through the fiction. When the solicitor is standing up and giving his whatever on your behalf, he stood there as the Mr. David Witcher. Because the judge can only hear him because he's bar accredited. You're not. You're not part of the bar. Dealt with in my absence, even though I was there. Exactly. These people have mental illness. You want to talk about mental illness? You go and look at the system. You'll find it in abundance. A living, breathing man was there and said, I'll issue a warrant for your arrest. Now, the word arrest means to stop. That's all it means. If you look up the word arrest, it means to stop. Nothing. Everyone uses this word arrest. Now, what I will say, I'm seeing a lot of stuff on YouTube, which I like to pay a fair amount of attention to because it's grassroots, it's off the cuff, it's what's happening in everyday's life. And there's a guy on there called Audit Ed, and there was a load of police come out of the station there yesterday to accost him. And as they walked off, he's singing the theme tune to Peppa Pig. Go on, piggies. They offended him, so he stood up for himself. I get it. I do get that. I just hope there's a point in time that don't come where they assault him, because these people, when you make them look silly because you don't respect their authority, and remember, respect is earned, not given, they tend to want to put a sting in their tail because they have all the weapons, don't they? And they don't mind using these weapons. To give someone a weapon and make them wear it on their hip, and to say that they can never use it it's like giving candy to a kid. The kid's going to want to see that candy. Got to take me boy to get his GCSE results. So have a lovely day, Pete. When you, Dave, see you soon. Karen Campbell, have a lovely day. Make sure you take that orangutan with you. Karen, not watched TV for 2 years, except the odd film. No papers for 7 years and no radio since lockdown plus 1 week. See, perfect. Now that means Ray Edmonds taking control of his life. That's what that means. It means that Ray is lock, stock and two smoking barrels in charge of his own life, because his brain is not getting that white noise, that interference. He's not worried about what else is going on out there in the world. He's focusing on his own creation. He's focusing on his own consciousness. He's focusing on his own greatness. Now where we need to be is we need to be back focusing on our own individual greatness, and we make out and to bring in a new manifestation. And that's what this video is about. How do we manifest a new world? We do it by not focusing on the old. We do it by bringing in the new, and we do it by elevating that consciousness awareness of, I don't want no part of the old. I'm going to make the new happen. I'm going to make the new happen. I'm doing it every single day by being private, by not lending the system a lifeline unless it works for me and benefits me. I'm not interested. I don't go to their high streets no more. Not a chance. Not all the time stuff's going on. All the time that they want to be imposing masks, I'm not going. All the time they want me to wear a mask in my golf course to go into the bar and have some food and drinks. It's not happening. And they're all getting desperate now, 60% off food. Tells me that the people of this country are the power and always have been the power, and that the majority of these people in this country now are not seeming to want to take part in the total craziness on this clown planet that we find ourselves on right now. Mervyn Bell, hello, gorgeous. Lovely to see you, mate. You're right. So we need to take back control of our own lives. And how do we do that? Is we make a conscious decision to do that. There's no man that can speak for me. There's no man that can administrate my worldly affairs without my consent. That's not how this works. Biblically, that's not how it works. The Bible talks about the man as dominion over the earth, and we've lost this. We've lost this awareness. We've lost this information. It's been hidden from us. We've been subtracted. We've been focusing on all this other stuff rather than focusing on, boom, what is real in this world. And we are real in this world, ladies and gentlemen. God, man, government, police. God, man. Man is above all of these other things. And man created all of these other things. Man created government. Man created the police. Man created the courts. The judges and all that are in there working on a title. Man don't have a title. Man's man. Man's organic. Man is natural. Man has the absolute right to make his own decisions 24 hours a day, how he wishes to live his life. And if he don't want any third-party interference, he doesn't have to have it. And this is backed up by so many of their covenants: International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, 1966, the European rights, the UN Convention of Rights, the Convention of Rights, all this and that says you have the absolute right to live privately and sort all your stuff out in the private. That can't be questioned. And there's always a third party in this now. You need someone, an insurance company. I've had my car stolen. Oh, we're only going to pay out so. Hang on, well, what's the purpose of insurance? The purpose of insurance is someone else. Why are you trying to cause me harm? You start talking like that to these companies, Bob, they pay out. They have to. They have to. Well, the Bible says that you've got to do this and you've got to do that, and you're harming a man now. So, be careful. Watch them all fix up. Watch them all look sharp. Must go give these old uns a view out of their window. Love and light to you, peeps. Auntie Mandy, look like yourself, Joel. Have a beautiful one. I must go give these old uns a view out of their windows. Love and light. Oh, bless you. Yeah, third party interlope. Exactly. So we always, a copper, third party. A judge, third party. You don't need to have these third parties interloping in your life. A bailiff, third party. They're all for protein shakes. Trying to get fit, trying to get strong. They're always trespassing on us. They have no right to. They have no right to. So, focus on your own independent greatness. Focus on the change that you want to see in the world. If you don't want to participate in this system, there's no law that says you have to. You don't have to. Because if you're forced to be part of this thing that you don't wish to be part of, that's classed as slavery, right? At birth, we come out of our mother's waters and then boom, the birth certificate. That's the unlawful conversion and that's the planned trespass. And most people in this world can't differentiate, but mate, trust me, that is getting bigger by the day. You've got no idea the amount of people that are waking up right now, ladies and gentlemen. So much of this country now, the people of this country, they now know. They absolutely now know what's going on. Registering with a GP today so I can do the 206, also not pay council tax for this year. God bless you. Just had first letter from them, which I'll be taking suggestions on best way to take them down to the whistle. So my mate, when he done his council tax, he arranged to have a meeting with him. And my mate knows a good book from front to back, Andy Wordsmith. And he walks into this council office. There's about 5 or 6 of these council officials all sat there. And my mate slams his birth certificate down on the table and he puts his finger on the middle of it. He says, right, who is operating in this trust without authority? And they all got up and run out. They all got up and ran out of the room. He's never heard eyed or hear of them since. They run out. Who is operating in this trusted state without authority? All needs consent from you. That birth certificate, birth bond is yours. It's your token to play in the game. Why do we let all these public servants rape them? They're just accessing your trust and estate. We shouldn't be allowing these people to do what they're doing. We shouldn't be. Very funny. Very, very, very funny. It's a fantastic book out there, actually, by, I think it's a Kenyan or African man written it, How to Ditch Your Council Tax. Step by step, boom, boom, boom. But it's all about participation. The minute that you decide, that's it, council tax is done and dusted, that's it, council tax is done and dusted. You just return to sender, block up your letterbox. They can't come near. The minute that you block up your letterbox, you just tell your friends and families, by the way, mum, dad, whoever, I'm blocking up my letterbox. I'm not using it no more. So you seal up the letterbox. And then what happens is every bit of mail gets returned to sender. And after 3 days, the postman can't drop anything off at your house. He then tells his postmaster general, we can't deliver to this address. And the system can enter our private domains is through the letterbox. That's it. There's more and more and more people now challenging their mortgages, challenging everything because they now know it all to be a con. How this system used to work before I disappear, ladies and gentlemen, so I've got stuff to do and the weather's starting to come out, is that the system would only operate on the corporate world, the business world, never us private men and women. But we got unlawfully converted less than 100 years ago. And this system is now failed to do because too many people know. Too many people now know that this is all wrong and that we're all being swindled. So I'll leave you with that. Focus on your own independent greatness. Focus on your point of awareness, what it is you want to see, what the changes you want to make in the world. Forget all the white noise going on out there. Pay attention to it, but be mindful that just pull yourself back to your own individual greatness and focus on the changes that you want to see in the world and how you want to participate in it. And then once you've made that decision, I'm not participating in that, world's a difference. I'll see you all very soon.